Water. Earth. Fire. Air.
You guys are not gonna believe this. Team Avatar is back. Air, water, earth, fire.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. This is not a drill. Team Avatar is back. And I'm not talking about Legend of Korra, I'm not talking about a new series set in the future. I'm talking about a new Avatar: The Last Airbender Aang series coming to Netflix in the next couple of years. They even released this first teaser, so this is just to confirm that this is going to be young Aang. They don't want you to be confused and think that they're going to be doing adult Aang after the events of the original series. They just announced it, so I'll explain what's going on, but it is time to officially freak out. It's been at least a couple years since I've done an Avatar video, so if you're new to the channel because of this video, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Of course, I will do episode videos when it gets here. So a lot of you have been hearing the news from various sources. I'll explain what's exactly going on. Mike and Brian are back. They're going to be show running the new series together, so Team Bright is back. Important detail too, Jeremy Zuckerman, the person that did all the music for Avatar: The Last Airbender and for Legend of Korra, he's coming back to do the music for this new Avatar revival series. So in real life, Team Avatar is also back. Now, they didn't say when the release date is going to be. They just announced that Mike and Brian are on board. It's going to be a live-action revival series, meaning that what they might do is just retell the original story, doing it live-action, effectively wiping the abomination that was that live-action Last Airbender movie off the map. If you haven't already, we can just forget that that existed right now. There are a lot of people that were confused, too. People thought that they were actually just doing that. No, that is not what's happening. Imagine when they made the Avatar movie several years ago. Imagine if Mike and Brian had been doing that and they had done it the right way. They haven't announced who the cast is yet, but this is a statement that they both released. We're thrilled for the opportunity to helm this live-action adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. We can't wait to realize Aang's world as cinematically as we always imagined it to be, and with a culturally appropriate, non-whitewashed cast. It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to build upon everyone's great work on the original animated series and go even deeper into the characters, story, action, and world building. Netflix is wholly dedicated to manifesting our vision for this retelling, and we're incredibly grateful to be partnering with them. So a lot of you probably know about the different comic book series that they've released, which sort of add to the story after the events of Sozin's Comet in the Season 3 finale. So what happened is the original series was always planned to be 3 seasons. They did about 20 episodes, give or take, and it was just meant to be this adventure series in the vein of the original Dragon Ball series. You know, people traveling around the world solving this big problem in this really incredible mythology. So that wasn't canceled by Nickelodeon. They always planned on doing that number of episodes. So it was done, they went on, they did some comic books. Eventually Nickelodeon came back to them and said, you know what, we need more of this. Do you have any more ideas within the Avatar universe? That's why they did the Korra sequel series. So they're like, okay, well, we don't want to do Aang again, but we do have this idea for another Avatar set in the future. It was the same situation with the Korra series. They had a set amount of story that they wanted to tell. Once they finished with book 4, that was all they wanted to do. So that's why the series ended. It wasn't canceled by Nickelodeon. They just announced a new Korra comic book series which continues that story. It's the same thing that they did with the Avatar series. So within this news release, though, they do specifically say retelling of that original Avatar story. So because a lot of Netflix series are, say, 10 to 13 episodes, what they might do is because special effects have just gotten really good, and Avatar would be a very special effects driven TV show just because of the way they use their powers. What they might do is just break the story up into 5 to 7 seasons, because the original series was about 20 episodes per season. They obviously could break this up into halves. So think about it this way. The first season might just be the first half of book 1, where they have to go to the fire temple by the winter solstice to learn from Avatar Roku about Sozin's Comet. That was the whole first big arc. Aang comes out of the ice, they're being chased down by the Fire Nation and by Zuko separately. They learn from King Bumi that they have to make it to Avatar Roku's temple to learn about Sozin's Comet by the winter solstice, or they won't get the information that they need. That was sort of them setting up the rest of the entire series, every single episode, what the stakes were. Sozin's Comet is coming, you have to defeat him before that happens. because once the comet comes, he'll be effectively invincible. So in order to be able to fully actualize as the Avatar, Aang had to go around and learn about all the different bending styles. So season 2 of this new series might be him going to the Northern Water Temple to learn water bending from the masters. So they sort of did that for that last live action movie. Imagine a completely different version of that. That was them condensing 20 episodes effectively into a 2-hour movie. Imagine them doing all those episodes again, slightly different but the same basic story. So like you would still do the Blue Spirit, you would still do stuff like the Fortune Teller, but it might not play down the exact same way. I don't think it's going to be copy-paste scripts from the original episodes. For those of you that are worried that they won't be able to pull this off in live action, just keep in mind that every year that goes by, special effects get better and better. So the stuff that you see in the big movies, like the big Marvel movies, all those crazy effects, it gets super easy to do those within a couple years of those movies coming out. So by the time the series gets here, they'll be able to do Infinity War level effects on a TV level Netflix budget. And because Netflix is so worried about Disney pulling all of its content off of Netflix and Warner Brothers and all the other studios, that is why it's overspending on a lot of these big epic series. It's banking on these being super popular, so people will want to stay with Netflix to get this stuff. But I think the real key here is in getting the original creative, Mike and Brian. If it weren't Mike and Brian doing it, then I would say maybe there's cause for concern. But because it's basically the entire original Avatar series team coming back to do this, I think we're pretty safe. It's not going to be a live-action Dragon Ball situation. It's not going to be a live-action Full Metal Alchemist situation. Do not worry about that kind of stuff. What's probably going to happen is right now, because they just announced it, they're probably blocking what the story is going to be, how they're going to break the episodes up. Then they'll convene a writer's room, they'll start writing the episodes, then they'll start casting. The beauty of this is that they seem like they're going to be pretty open about the process because it's been so long and they want fans to come back like, hey, remember you loved Avatar so much? We're doing that again. Please come back and watch it. Sifu Kisu probably going to come back and help advise them on their martial arts. If you don't remember, Sifu Kisu was the person that helped them develop the styles of bending and the martial arts that they would use during the series and during Korra. They haven't announced where they're going to film it. I assume it's going to be somewhere in Europe or East Asia or New Zealand, somewhere that looks like the world of Avatar, because I don't think it's a big problem in terms of locations or getting the actors that they want. Netflix wants this to be as good as it can be. So whatever you have in your mind as a really awesome live action version, they're probably going to get pretty close to that. So they make it, say, like 5, 6, 7 seasons. Who knows? Maybe they'll also do a live action Korra series after that. I think it just depends on how things go the first couple of seasons with this, but they'll just keep doing this as long as people keep watching. So if you want to support it, it's going to be a couple years before the episodes actually get here. But right now, the original Avatar series isn't available for streaming pretty much anywhere. The only way you can get it is the occasional reruns on Nickelodeon's site, buying it on iTunes. I do think that they have the 1080p remasters on iTunes. They just did the complete Avatar series Blu-ray release. They also did the same thing for Korra. So you can go out to Best Buy or pretty much any store that sells Blu-rays and get those right now. And they are remasters. They did tune everything up for 1080p on the original series, so it looks way, way better. A lot of you have been asking me about that new Dragon Prince series because a lot of the people that worked on Avatar: The Last Airbender and Korra are working on that series. Even though it's not connected to Avatar, there are a lot of Easter eggs for that. Like, remember during the Ember Island Players episode, Zuko says, my mother used to take me to see them. They butchered Love Amongst the Dragons every year. Because the person that wrote the Ember Island Players episode wrote this episode of The Dragon Prince, you actually see this girl reading that book, Love Amongst the Dragons. But just to be clear, that's completely separate from the Avatar series. Let me know in the comments, though, how do you want them to break up and retell the original Avatar: The Last Airbender series in live action? Do you think that they'll just break it up and the first season will be them going to see Avatar Roku to learn about Sozin's Comet, and then they'll just do that same thing for Book 1, Book 2, and Book 3? Because within their news release, Mike and Brian did say that they're going deeper on all the characters than they did in the original series. So I'm just interested to see how this is all going to break down. But no worries, it's probably not going to shoot till next year sometime, meaning that we wouldn't see the episodes till the year after that, so it'll probably be year 2020 before we get those episodes, no worries. But click here to rewatch that big Captain Marvel trailer from yesterday a billion more times, and click here to learn about the Avengers TV series that they just announced. It's crazy. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.